My name is Leahy, and I live in Tir Cluain in Middleton, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come and meet with us today and hear our stories. Around 11:30 a.m. on the 18th of October, my partner rang me to tell me that we were flooding, and in my naivety I suggested he grab towels and duvets to mop it up, but the water had risen to 3 foot and it was within 15 minutes. We had no warning, no preparation, no time whatsoever to think about what we needed to save. On the approach to my house by foot, I realised very quickly that the current of the water flowing was at such a rapid pace, there was no way I could have made it home without being pulled into the current. To put this in context, I watched a car float out of the driveway from the house behind me and float past me until finally coming to a stop by some trees outside my house. I stood and waited at that turn for maybe 30 to 45 minutes, waiting for my partner to leave the house. The 8-foot boundary wall opposite our house collapsed with the pressure of the water. That 30 minutes waiting for Aidan to get out with our dog and as much of our life's possessions as he could fit in a backpack was hands down the longest 30 minutes of my life. I stood there in freezing water up to my waist and just prayed that he would get out in one piece. I knew that one slip of his foot or a raised manhole and he was dead. He did make it out, but because of sheer luck, we had no help from emergency services, no help from officials. And this is an image I think about often. I've had nightmares at this moment. I've replayed it, the what ifs, so many times, and this wasn't just our house, but our whole estate. And ours was just one estate in East Cork. This image was repeated across the whole of East Cork, where ultimately 500 homes were flooded. That is at least 1,500 people whose lives were put at risk that day and continue to be put at risk until such time as defences are put in place in our towns. You see, to some people a house may be just a roof over your head, somewhere to keep you warm and dry. But to us, this was our home. We'd worked since we were 15 years of age for everything we had. We were never given a handout of any description, not from family, not from friends, and not from the state. My partner worked 2 jobs when we were saving for our deposit. We sacrificed so many things to save for our house. We missed family events, holidays, we delayed wedding plans, we delayed starting a family, because the smart thing to do was to have a roof over our heads. And we were so proud of it. It may be just a 3-bed semi to most people, but it was our safe place. It was where we went after a tough day to close the door on our problems and be together. It was where we decorated our Christmas tree and where we blew out our birthday candles. It was where we celebrated our wins and grieved for our losses. And all that was taken from us in 15 minutes with absolutely no warning. We worked to make those 4 walls a home, and every bit of work that needed to be done, we did ourselves together. The stuff we lost in the flood is just stuff, which is what I tell myself regularly when I'm trying to stay positive. No one was hurt and no one was killed. But the reality is it was our stuff. It was our photo albums with memories from a 20-year relationship long before the days of backing up photographs on a hard drive. They were our mementos from years of travel, our handmade gifts from parents and family and friends that were completely irreplaceable, and we did also lose a car. But the most devastating thing we lost was our safe place, our security, our home, and our happiness in that home. Despite being lucky enough to have insurance this time, our home is still a building site 4 months on. It is hard to see how we can ever put that love back into it again, hard to see how we can ever sit back and be proud of what we own again. If there was an early warning system in place, we would have at least had the opportunity to prepare ourselves to move the most important things, to save the parts of our life that a check cannot replace, and to have evacuated our homes safely. We may have had a chance to get sandbags to slow the flow. We may have had the chance to help our friends and neighbours. An early warning system does work, and it's in place in many other European countries. Why are we being left behind? How much do you think you could save in 15 minutes with water rushing into your home? How safe would you feel with the force of this water outside your house? And where does an average income household find €100,000 for repairs the next time this happens without insurance cover? The people of East Cork need help and we need it urgently. This is an emergency situation for us. We simply cannot endure another flood. The next time there's a strong likelihood we won't all make it out alive. Thank you.